Okay, I guess Libby is you could take it away.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
Thank you
Libby.
so much for inviting me. I really appreciate this chance to say hello to everybody. I know I've met Sheila and I believe I've met Dr. Brimm very briefly, but Michelle and Debbie, I am new to you, so good morning. My name is
Good morning.
I am the social media coordinator for the district. I'm over in the strategic communications office. And Sheila just invited me on to talk a little bit about what I do since I am new here, and then share some strategies and things that are going on my side.
Libby, can you turn up your volume just a little bit?
Sure. Let's see.
Your volume, I think.
No, my volume is almost like at 100.
Yeah, mine's up high as well.
Oh, I can hear her. I don't know.
I can
Is that
hear.
any better?
Yes, that's a lot better. Yes.
Okay, great. I'm maxed out, so I'll try to speak up a little bit too.
No, that's great. A lot better.
Sorry.
That's okay. I started here in May. Before I was with the district, I worked with the Florida State Fair. I was doing some marketing and social media for them as well. So different setting, but same experience, which is always fun. So part of my job, of course, is managing. We have a district Facebook, a Twitter account, Instagram, and then I do a little bit with our YouTube channel as well. So just making sure that all of that runs smoothly. I do a lot of the content creation, so coming up with things to talk about on our social media, sharing good news, things that are coming up, things that parents need to know or students, working with other departments to get their messages out. And then also I kind of have like a small customer service kind of role. So if parents have issues and can't figure out who to talk to, a lot of times they'll come to us on social media and we'll talk it out that way. So you might be hearing from me in the future about, hey, I have this parent question and I don't know who to ask for help. So can you help me? And then I'd also assist with some other district marketing efforts as well, just kind of wherever I'm needed. So that's a little bit about what I do. Sheila, you had noted that you wanted me to talk a little bit about the social media strategy and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know you and I had a chat about it with regard to our Alliance for Family Engagement and our presence there. So some of that, and just, I think we are always, you know, a lot of what we do, is promotion of our programs, initiatives, events. And so, you know, we sometimes look to communications for help with doing that or to do it, you know, but often we do it ourselves. And you know that I can, you know, I'm a Facebook editor, so sometimes our department looks to me to do that. And so I just think it would help with everybody. Kiosha and Michelle do Lunch Pals, that Facebook page. It's not a district run page, it's a separate page. But anyway, I just thought it would be useful for people to hear, you know, from the expert about some of those strategies, like the ones we talked to, and anything else you think would be, you know, relevant to share.
Yeah,
Can I just say something?
Please.
So we do want to promote. So I'm responsible for the volunteer program and the mentoring and tutoring program here in the district. Debbie is responsible for the Lunch Pals program, specifically in recruiting partners and volunteers, and then matching them up to the schools. Kiosha Simmons, who's not on the call, we have her really handle our social media for our branded mentoring program called Lunch Pals. So every month she is trying to promote the program and the whole concept of mentoring and why mentoring is important. So we're really looking to build that, what do you call it? The friends
Following.
and the following of our Lunch Pal program, both on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, you know, any of those social media pages. So we are struggling to get those followings. You know, we'll get some likes and shares, but it's so slow. So any support or ideas or strategies that you could help give us. for not only our, department and the things for family engagement, but for our mentoring would be extremely helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, Libby, I also want to add to what Michelle is just saying regarding some of the components that we work with. One of the things, even with family engagement, of course, when we link our things to the Facebook, there's a large following because it's with the district. But also, how do we drill down to really communicate in a more strategic manner for those families who might not log in or might not look at our Facebook page? Those group families that really, and when we do our webinars, we, in comparison to the number of families, we've always resulted in about 1/3 of our participants who register. How do we build that out? And then lastly, how do we also communicate to our 14 schools and their families that we do 21st century to say this is a free program? How can you sign up grades 3 to 5 to get your child engaged in additional activities, both academic and personal enrichment? So those are some key pieces that I'm looking for, in addition to promoting our 5,000 role models and our girlfriends program.
Yeah, those are fantastic questions.
Maybe we'll need to have you back because I know you've got meetings.
I
So
know
we can
I could sit here and talk about it forever.
address one of those or two of those or three of those, however many you can, till you can, have to jump off, and then we'll follow up, as needed.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I am trying to do over just in the general district sense is really telling the story of our district and what we're doing, and making it less about, you need to attend this, you need to do this, and more of like creating a community. And I think that that's something that could be very valuable on your own channels. So encouraging people to participate, share their experiences, having you, so I'm thinking, for example, like your mentors, having them hop on and talk a little bit about like their most recent mentoring experience in the comments of the post. Really just trying to build up that sense of community, because that is the golden question, is how do we get people to pay attention? How do we get more people to come engage with us? How do we grow our audience? How do we grow our following? That's something that everybody in social media is always chasing. But I think when you take a step back and you kind of let everything else zoom out a little bit, you realize that people are going to pay attention to what relates to them, what they're interested in. So if they see that community and they see themselves involved in that community, I think that that kind of jumps off for them, where I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. It makes it more applicable to them. It makes it something that they want to pay attention to. So just in terms of like basic day-to-day social media tips, I would say always make it personal. Try to include photos of people, teachers, whoever is the subject. Any kind of testimonial where other people can talk about their experience is really valuable. And just encouraging that sense of community. I had a train of thought and it went away. I'm so sorry.
Well, when you talked, Libby, you had something that I wasn't really aware of, and I thought it was a great tip. So maybe you could share it here. I haven't yet, about linking and staying in the page, instead of linking outside.
Yes, that's so a whole other aspect of this is not only trying to figure out what people want to pay attention to, it's also figuring out how Facebook is prioritizing posts for people and understanding what that algorithm looks like for other people's profiles. So when you log into Facebook, what are you seeing first, second, third, and then as you scroll down, It's a little bit different for every page and every page's audience, but in general, the best rule of thumb is to create your own content. Don't link to places outside, because Facebook wants to keep people on their site as long as possible. So your own original photos, your own original videos uploaded directly to Facebook is normally prioritized, so it'll show up first when people log in, and then you'll have as much of their attention span as possible versus to them having to scroll all the way down to the bottom of their feed to see you. So figuring out those little tips and tricks can be really valuable. And Facebook has this really nice insights section on their back end of your page. And it can be as general or as specific as you want, but it'll really break down those kind of audience behaviors for you. And you can see, okay, my audience for some reason really likes pictures. They pay attention to pictures the most. So then you can kind of tweak your content to follow what people are interested in. And it makes it a little bit easier to get them engaged.
Where would you see the insight? Where would you see that?
So if you're logged in to
Right.
your Facebook page as an administrator or an editor,
Right.
and you go on, I'm on the Pinellas County School page right now. On the left, there's all of these things. It says page updates, inbox.
Right, I see it.
Scroll down to insights. And then that is where all this whole like wealth of information lives. What I was talking about specifically, I think if you go to insights and then posts, there's a tab up top that says post types, and it'll tell you your average reach and your average engagement for each.
Great. Oh, that was there.
I didn't know that was there. That's awesome.
I just recently discovered it too. They're constantly updating that back end in this platform to be more informative because they want people like us to figure out how to get people to stay on Facebook longer for them. But it can really inform you for the future as to what your audience is doing and paying attention to.
I'm looking at AFE
Uh-huh.
and it really, yeah. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Does it show what time of the day is best to post as well on the insights?
I believe it does.
It does give you the time, but I don't know. No. I don't know.
I know Instagram does this. I'll have to look further from Facebook because there's so many tabs and things to get lost in. But I can absolutely figure that out and come back to you guys with an answer, because that's also really valuable information. Is when is your audience online? When are you most likely to catch them where they're already at?
Mm-hmm. Deb, do you have access to Lunch Pals as an editor?
No.
Okay, we need to talk to Kirsha about that. Okay.
Something else you mentioned to me, Libby, and just go on if you have something else to talk. But I wanted to follow up about and can be now or another time, about infographics, which I think is like what we see on the PCS page, the cute, I don't know, little and not animated, but the graphics that you've been using, and they all seem to have like a similar style. I don't know if you have a subscription or if there's anything we could use or if we need to get our own, but I look at that style.
Yeah, so that's something else that's great too, is figuring out a look and kind of making everything fit that look. So when people see your content, they recognize it as yours.
Right.
It's called canva.com, like canvas without the S.
Huh?
They have a free account. I believe our department has a subscription, but there's tons of stuff on there that's free, and they have templates pre-made that you can use, or you can create your own design. So it's really flexible based on your skill level.
And you're using that Canva to make those little hand things and the blue and green and yellow and that.
Yeah, I would say about 95%
Wow.
of those graphics go through Canva.
Okay. Cool.
Isn't Canva also a platform where, kind of like Hootsuite, you can make posts to the different platforms as well?
Yeah, I've actually not experimented very much with it, but I know I've seen it just through using it. As soon as you make something,
Right.
you can pick something that's like sized for Twitter, for example. It'll have a button in the corner that says, do you want to post this to Twitter? And you can click that and either schedule it or post it right away. So you can really kind of make that your full service content creation kind of suite.
Okay. So I know we use Hootsuite, and one of the things I've noticed is when we tag, say, one of our partners, and I went in and looked up all of our partners' social media accounts and stuff, it is not making it a hyperlink so that they're being tagged on it a lot of times when it's coming from Hootsuite. Do you
Mhm.
know if Canva does that as well? I mean,
Do you know what platform? Is it Facebook or Twitter that's having an issue?
so it's all of it. So
Okay, interesting.
yeah. Well, and part of the problem is I'll just say some of our partners, their call sign, I don't know what you exactly call it, it might be different on Instagram versus Facebook. So like ours on Facebook, I think it's at Lunch Pals. On Instagram, it's at pcs.lunchpals.
Lunch pals.
So I know, but when for some reason she'll put in the at and then what it's supposed to be, and then when it goes to those social media platforms, it is not creating that hyperlink when it's being scheduled in Hootsuite. So I'm not sure.
So I'm not sure if Canva is a better solution because I've not tried it.
Okay.
But I do know when you are scheduling in Hootsuite, you have to manually type. You can't copy and paste it from somewhere else. You have to type
Okay.
at PCSB or whatever it is you're trying to tag, and it'll pop up with a menu.
Okay.
And if you've got their username in there, you just select whatever's correct at PCSB, and then it'll highlight it. You'll be able to see that it's actually going to tag.
Okay.
And if you don't do that, I'm pretty sure it doesn't connect. It'll just read it like regular text.
Regular text. So do you know if no, I just can't remember what I was going to ask. Oh, do you have to like that partner's social media accounts to actually, I've noticed sometimes on a different account that I help out with my husband's account, that you have to like that person's page to actually make it an active hyperlink or something like that. Is that necessary?
I don't think it's necessary, but I do know, like, if you're in Facebook itself and you've got somebody that you've liked versus somebody that you haven't, and you're trying to tag them both, it'll be easier to find the like.
Okay, maybe
page.
that's what it is. Okay. Thanks.
Sure.
So I'd like to ask a question.
Please.
You have the biggest following, obviously. Ours is little. How can we work more together to help promote and build our following off of your following? Is that a possibility? And what would we have to do to make that happen?
That is a good question. I think there's definitely.
Well, I was saying, could you share with your followers to follow us?
I think so. I'd have to check. To be honest, I've not had to do that so far, so I'm not sure if there's any limitations as far as like what we're allowed to promote versus not.
Okay.
But that is a possibility. And then I was going to say, there's definitely room for collaboration as far as we've been doing these live virtual events through Facebook Live. So we'll bring in other departments who have a message that they want to get out. Something that I'm thinking of right off the bat is the district application programs. Their application period just opened and closed. And so we did a series for parents who wanted to ask questions about the application process or schools or what the programs were like. And Ellen Truskowski hopped on there, did a little presentation, answered a bunch of questions, and then had a pool of people that she had received, given they don't have a Facebook page, but she had collected like email addresses and contact information from them, and then was able to get more messages out to them in the future about deadlines and things like that that she wanted to communicate. So I'm thinking there could even be an
Is that the
opportunity
same
where,
as video streaming?
yes, it's live. So
I'm
in real
sorry,
time.
I'm working on these pieces, so that's why, if it sounds
That's
stupid.
okay.
It doesn't.
No stupid
So were
questions,
those
I promise.
during the school day or at night?
We did ours in the evening just because we knew parents would be home and able to watch. We did, so kind of jumping around here. Yesterday we had a stream in the afternoon for a groundbreaking ceremony at North Shore Elementary.
Right.
And the attendance was definitely lower because it was at 1:30 in the afternoon and people were working. They just didn't have
Right.
that time. But I'm thinking that that could be something that we could possibly set up. I work with our multimedia team to put those on. And even if it wasn't like a Q&A, it could be like an interview with a mentor or something to promote the Lunch Pals program. And then we could kind of cross promote the Lunch Pals page that way.
Is there a cap on the time frame of those live streams?
We usually do them for about an hour because we notice that that's the max attention span that we can get from most people. I would say anywhere between 20 minutes to 60 minutes, because you don't want to do too short, because then it's, why did everybody sit down for this production? We're only here for 10 minutes, but you also don't want to go too long and lose them.
So let me ask this. So in the event we do, we're thinking about doing a parent summit, which is going to last a little bit longer than an hour, but I'm going back to our webinars that we provide. As we do our webinars live, can we at the same time connect for you to do it, stream it live as well, or we take the recording and let you stream it later? How does that work?
How do you do your webinars? Is it through Zoom or Microsoft Teams?
Zoom.
Yeah, so it is possible to take like a Zoom call like this and throw it up on the stream. So it can be simultaneously, you're talking through Zoom, but it's also recording through or broadcasting through Facebook.
Okay.
Is that what, did Ellen do them that way? What platform did you use?
Ellen just did it just through Facebook, but we did do a couple sessions where she was on Facebook and then she had some of her coordinators on Microsoft Teams so that parents could like call in and ask questions. That was a little bit more layered and complicated than I think was necessary. But we've done, when Dr. Grego and the other superintendents in the area were talking about the USF College of Education, that was done through Zoom and then broadcast on Facebook.
And when you do whether you use Zoom or you do it directly on Facebook, when you do that live streaming through Facebook, it lives on, right? I mean, it can appear in people's feeds later in the day. It's just not live. So somebody, right?
Yeah, so what we've noticed is we'll have maybe between 200 and 300 people actively watching while it's live. But then once the session is over and the video posts as a recorded video, we'll get another 1,500 views, 2,000 views on it. So people will see it and watch it after it's already been done. Mm-hmm. And it'll stay up there forever too. So if people need to go back and reference it, it'll live there.
And how did the promotion of those, like specifically those district application program events, how was that done? I know you have to go in a minute, so.
That's okay. I can talk fast. A lot of it was just through social media, figuring that the people that are going to watch are here. So let's get them where they're at. I would just create a Facebook event. People could RSVP to it. And then we can send them notifications reminding them as it gets closer, don't forget to tune in. It's happening tonight, 6 o'clock, turn on your computer. So that way people can kind of get it in their mind, write it on their calendar, do whatever they have to do. and then we'll make sure that they don't forget about it.
Okay.
So I have a quick question. When we talked about like the generational gap, like who actually use Facebook, Twitter, and all of that. Let me ask this question. How does the district feel about TikTok?
So that's one of my,
Be
like, I'm
honest,
back and forth on it. It's really good for, I think, reaching students, because obviously we want to talk to parents, we want to reach families, but students are also a huge part of the programs and things that we have to participate in. So of course we want to go where they're at. It gets a little complicated because being in Florida, having everything be public record, you need to have an archiving system. And other social media platforms have got that figured out, where we can go back and reference what was posted on what date, and there's always a record of it. TikTok doesn't have that yet. So it'll probably be a while before we can get on there, just because of that archiving legal kind of standpoint. But we're trying to use our Instagram page in a similar way and create some similar content as to what you would see on TikTok, because that is where most of our student following is. So we're trying to come up with some creative solutions.
So let me ask if I know you got to go for the age bracket of 25 to 40. What is the most used social media platform?
So generally, I would say the answer would be Instagram, but for us,
The
it's
what?
actually Facebook.
What did you? Oh, for us, it's Facebook.
For us, it's Facebook. Because if you think about like the age of a parent right now, they're probably 35 to 45, and that is actually our exact audience that's on Facebook. So we skew a little younger on Instagram and then a little bit older on Facebook.
Do you guys do any sponsored ads?
We have in the past. We did for Ellen's district application programs, and then for kindergarten as well. We didn't do anything crazy. I think we had a budget of like $50 to $100 for each ad and just ran them for a week or two. But it is a good way if you've got something that you want to project out. We get like an extra 3,000 to 4,000 people who look at it, who are outside of our page already.
Okay. And do you guys use Boomerang? Can you use Boomerang to put content on Instagram?
The Boomerang app?
Yeah.
I think it's built into Instagram
Is
now.
it built to? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Wasn't
But
sure how it
we
worked,
use that
but
for like stories and stuff.
Okay.
All right, Libby, we'll let you go. It just turned 9. You need to hop on the other meeting. Thank you so
I
much.
do.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you guys. It was really nice to talk
Thank
to you. Please let
you.
me know if you have any other questions.
Love to have you back time, but we'll give you a few weeks.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
What a sweet lady.
Mm-hmm.
She is sweet. She
I'm gonna-
is.
Recording now or not?
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, you can
What?
stop the recording.
All right.
Yes, stop the